Hi everyone, it's Mike here again, and it is great to share with you a preview of our latest Moonshots Master series. This series is where we collect all the wisdom that we've learned from over 140 plus shows. And what we do is we study a particular topic and we bring all the best clips and practices together so you get your own little masterclass. And what you'll get in each of the Moonshots Master series is a show dedicated to your personal transformation, or perhaps to problem solving, decision making, thinking better, all that kind of good stuff. Or lastly, it will be about leadership. Those are the three big buckets that all the Moonshots thinking fits into: personal transformation, thinking better, and leadership. That's right. And we pick all of those great clips from superstars, entrepreneurs, and authors and wrap it all up together. Now, you're only getting a preview of this. If you'd like to listen to the full show, get all the tools and all the goodies that comes with the Moonshots Master Series, visit moonshots.io, click on the members area, and sign up. Be our patron. It's only $1 a week, and you'll get a complete masterclass just for you every single month. So head over to moonshots.io and become a member. But for now, enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Moonshots Master Series. It's episode 18. I'm your co-host, Mike Parsons, and as always, I'm joined by Mark Pearson-Freeland. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Mike, and good morning, Master Series members and subscribers. We're so glad to be bringing a brand new topic as part of episode 18, aren't we, Mike?
We are bringing something new and hopefully something that will get those creative juices flowing.
Oh, I think you've given it away already, Mike. But that's right, members. We are digging into the idea, the mystery, perhaps, the light at the end of the tunnel, which is the concept of creativity. Creativity from any part of your life, I think, is where we're making the case today. The idea of leaning towards something that perhaps you've never done before, or perhaps it was an idea that you've got in the back of your mind since, day one. Maybe, in fact, it was a career that you previously had, and then you put down the pencil for a little bit, and now you're thinking about going out and maybe being a little bit more creative today. I think, Mike, we've got a pretty action-packed as well as inspirational show orientated around how all of us can be a little bit more creative in our lives.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes we all are victim of thinking, well, Joe or Jane, they're really creative and I don't have that within me. Well, I think we are going to dispel that kind of self-doubt, that sort of fear. We're going to show you, our members and subscribers, that you all have infinite creative power inside of you. You just have to do a bunch of things to go get that. And we're going to have some fantastic clips from the likes of Elizabeth Gilbert, John Cleese, and many, many more. And hopefully you'll get a little bit of inspiration. You'll have a few aha moments. But importantly, we also want you to have a deeper understanding of creativity and also a real go-to playbook for what you can do, steps that you can take in your day straight after this podcast to be more creative, to use your imagination, and whatever your creative gift is, that you can find it, that you can enjoy it, you can celebrate it and share it with others. That, Mark, sounds like a master series in creativity, doesn't it?
Doesn't it, Mike? I mean, we've obviously done the likes of managing people, entrepreneurship, habits and collaboration, mental models around communication, and even finding your purpose. But this show, I think, it belongs in this Master Series library because of all the points you just mentioned, and particularly the idea of demystifying the idea of creativity, something that maybe we've all judged ourselves upon previously and disregarded the idea. But you're totally right, Mike. We've got a range of fantastic individuals, clips, speakers today. So I'm excited to dig in.
All right, so I think we've kind of set it up. I think importantly, remember this is a master series for members and subscribers only. Make sure you head to moonshots.io, get the show notes so you can follow along, get the books, the inspiration, the charts, the links, everything that you need to take this idea of creativity, bring it into yourself and to practice it. So head over to moonshots.io. But with that, you have our wisdom, the wisdom of all the people that we're studying. You have your show notes. You're ready to go. Mark, how do we want to open up this world of creativity?
Well, look, Mike, similarly to some of the insights you were sharing just then, a lot of the time people get maybe a little bit put off. So we're going to open today's Master Series episode with an individual, an author that we've referenced a lot of times on the Moonshots Weekly show, and that's Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote a great book called Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear. So let's hear straight away, kicking us off and getting us inspired for today's episode with Elizabeth Gilbert on why fear shouldn't stop you creating.
What was the big magic that inspired Big Magic? What inspired you to write this?
Wow. You know what it is? It's a response to years of being out in public, talking to people who tell me about the projects they want to be making and are not making, the things they want to be doing and are not doing. And oftentimes when I'm in public, I meet people who are making and doing really cool things and they want to tell me about it. But mostly it's people who aren't. And when they come to me with their problems about creativity or their struggles with creativity, because they know I love to talk about creativity, I find that they always have some sort of very rational, reasonable, kind of material, real world reason why they're not doing it, that they can lay out as an explanation. But when you start to scratch away at that, what's underneath it is always and only fear.
Yes.
Always and only fear. I don't care what the excuses or the rationalization or the justification for why they're not doing the thing that's calling to them. Yeah. At the bottom of it, they're afraid. They're afraid they don't have the talent. They're afraid they don't have the right. They're afraid it's already been done better. They're afraid they'll be rejected or insulted or criticized or worse, ignored. They're afraid there's no point. There's afraid, they just have these like tumbling piles of fear. And I see it so much and I hear the same questions again and again that I finally just thought, well, let's officially talk about this.
Yes.
Let's actually really break this down and try to figure out how people can live more creative lives without being so scared.
Oh, Mark, this is not only sort of great thinking and great questions about creativity. Just to kind of zoom out a little bit, surely fear and self-doubt is not only the enemy of creativity. I would propose to you, Mark, what we've learned on the Master Series, it is the enemy of being at our best. We talk so much about being the best version of yourself. Surely it is fear and self-doubt, like it is for being creative, being the best in all facets of your life is the fear or the self-doubt. And pushing through that is what really defines success. I think we all feel self-doubt. It's those that can push through it. We all feel hardship and uncertainty, but it's those that push through. And like that with creativity, if we give in to the thought, oh, I'm not really that creative, I could never do that. If we entertain those thoughts, then we are not going to explore our creative potential. And I love that Elizabeth Gilbert, and this is not the only time we're going to hear from her on this Master Series, she's challenging that question. She is asking the question of how do we unlock it and how do we overcome that fear? What a cracking start to a Creativity Master Series, Mark.
Yeehaw. I couldn't agree more, Mike. I think the call out that Elizabeth gave us there to get us inspired for today's show, if these individuals or you and I, any of our members, if you're afraid that you don't have the right to give it a go and to try it, that's going to be the blocker for anybody to go at it and create. Whether you're Elon Musk trying to build SpaceX and get to the moon, and people saying, no, he can't do it, or being afraid of failure, being afraid of what other people think of you. I'm remembering Mark Manson and the subtle art of not giving a, as well as, individuals such as Jordan Peterson. The idea of comparing yourself to others, I think, is a theme that we'll probably run into a couple of times on today's Master Series on creativity. But I mean, Mike, I'm even thinking Brené Brown, Brené Brown calling us into the arena to enter it and not only have an opinion, but more importantly for today, to give it a go, because you never know how you're going to respond. You might excel in the situation. You might learn something really valuable for another part of your life, for another part of your creative experience, but you're never going to learn and never going to go and any further without giving it a go. And I love this idea that Elizabeth Gilbert calls us out and says, let's just talk about it.
Well, something else we should talk about, and one of the few times it is worth comparing yourself with others, is if you are all together members and subscribers to the Moonshots Master Series. And I think this is a great moment for us to celebrate those that are learning out loud with us and today looking to tap into some creativity. So, Mark, I hand to you the baton and a tip of the hat. Well, let's do a roll call of our Patreon members.
I'll roll call. Let me dust off. Well, in fact, it's not a very dusty trumpet mic with the shows that we're pumping out. But let me fine tune the trumpet, ready to call out our Patreon members. Please welcome, as always, Bob, John, Terry, Ken, Dietmar, Byron, Marjan, Connor, and Yasmin, our 12-month plus subscribers and members.
Those are the golden oldies, aren't they, Mark?
They are, but there's nothing old about them because those individuals are our growth mindset aficionados, aren't they? But close on those heels, and the other individuals who are wanting to expand their knowledge of creativity and learning out loud with us include Lisa, Sid, Mr. Bonjour and Paul, Berg, Kalman, David, Joe, and Crystal. Ivo, Christian, Hurricane Brain, Samuela, Kelly, Barbara, and Andre, Matthew, Eric, Abby, Chris, Deborah, Lasse, Craig, and Daniel, Andrew, Rave, Yvette, and LGV, Raul, PJ, Nicoara, Ola, Ingram, Sarah, and Dirk, Emily, Harry, and our brand new members with Karthik, Venkata, Vipara, Marco, and brand new is Sundas. Welcome and thank you for joining us, Sundas, on the journey of learning out loud.
We are very, very grateful indeed for your support. Thank you. It really makes it possible for us to pay the bills, and those bills just get bigger. The more people that seem to listen, the bills, the hosting bills in particular, do get bigger. So we thank you for your support. It's really appreciated. And we couldn't be making this particular show without you. But we are not finished with this show, Mark. We have more to give in this world of creativity, don't we?
Yeah, that's right, Mike. I mean, I think we've made the case around, or at least we're beginning to make the case around this idea of entering that arena, giving it a go, understanding that fear shouldn't be the thing that holds any of us back from trying something new, maybe trying something creative. So talking about creativity, let's hear from one of the masters of creation and creativity with Mr. John Cleese, who's going to break down for us now and make the case that creativity is actually a way of operating.
When Video Arts asked me if I'd like to talk about creativity, I said no problem. No problem. Because telling people how to be creative is easy. It's only being it that's difficult. And I knew it would be particularly easy for me because I spent the last 25 years watching how various creative people produce their stuff and being fascinated to see if I could figure out what makes folk, including me, more creative. What is more, a couple of years ago, I got very excited because a friend of mine who runs the psychology department at Sussex University, Brian Bates, showed me some research on creativity done at Berkeley in the 70s by a brilliant psychologist called Donald McKinnon, which seemed to confirm in the most impressively scientific way all the vague observations and intuitions that I'd had over the years. Creativity is not a talent. It is not a talent. It is a way of operating. You see, when I say a way of operating, what I mean is this. Creativity is not an ability that you either have or do not have. It is, for example, and this may surprise you, absolutely unrelated to IQ. Because to sum up something I sometimes take 3 hours to say, all creativity comes from the unconscious. If creativity came from logic and intelligence, then all the logical, intelligent people could do it. But they can't. It all boils down to getting in a playful and relaxed frame of mind. Most of it's to do with relaxation, because unless you're relaxed, you can't hear the promptings from the unconscious. You know, nobody ever had a bright idea when they were attacking a machine gun nest. You see what I mean? If you're occupied with activity, and that's one of the reasons why there's so little creativity at the moment, is that nobody gets any peace anymore, because these damn things are ringing all the time and beep there, and you sit down, there's another email come in. It's absolutely poisonous, because interruptions and anxiety will kill any kind of creativity. So you have to get in an atmosphere where you've got a little cocoon of your own. You close your door, or you go and sit in the park, and you just stay quiet. And for the 20 minutes, nothing happens, because you can only think of the things you ought to be doing. You know, people you've forgotten to telephone. So you have to have a little notebook. You write those down. Then after 20 minutes, the mind starts to calm down, just as it does in meditation. It's almost identical process. And then when you start thinking about the subject, not too hard. You don't want to get tense. You just kind of play with the thought, and you get little ideas start popping up. But if your mind is full of, you'll never hear those little ideas. It'll be drowned out. You see what I mean?